Well, good morning. It is the 8th of December, 2023. We had non-farm payroll out this morning at 07:30, and that obviously worked its wonders. You can pretty obvious where that was, and then back to the scene of the crime, and now they're just kind of trading back and forth over the top of it. Rollover is coming up next week from the December contract. Going to H, I believe. Which would be March. So could expect some wonky window dressing and settlements and whatever else they want to call it around rollover. I don't know. Next week will probably be the worst, but at least generally there's a lower volume. So this may or may not be a trading day for me, but I wanted to get a little bit of a stream off here this morning. So we have, basically we are going to open, if I get this whole thing figured out, we're looking to open lower, in other words, lower than close or settlement up here at 89. We're 10 points below that, so we're going to open lower, but in range from yesterday. That plays out to these statistics, which would be lower in range. So there's a 84% chance of the overnight POC, mid, highs, etc. These statistics are calculated on a 2001 day data set. And the only variables here to make this data set statistically significant is the open type with respect to yesterday's RTH range. That's really important. So we will, these levels now of all these price levels and the statistics around them are translated here. These are all pushed by IRT to the Bookmap Cloud Notes, and I've input these statistics from that sheet that calculated sheet which I just showed on the other monitor. This is the micro composite volume point of control, which is at about 74. The micro composite is here, just simply encapsulating overlapping price with a volume profile. Nothing rocket science or mysterious about it. That's all it is. This is the developing volume area. VPOC, and this is where it sits now, which is at 45, 74. So that's how that works. One other thing. These green lines are the high volume nodes of the micro composite, and these are pushed to a similarly named column. I'm not very handy with all of this stuff here. They're pushed to a similarly named column here, and so these would correspond to those on the high value on the micro composite. Obviously, the MCV POC is a high volume node. It's the highest of that micro composite. We're going to open now in 2 minutes. Get a little range pushed out here so we can sort of see. Going to activate the multi-brackets, which facilitates the risk-neutral trade. 12-point stop for both contracts. First T1 is at 12 points. Then we are writing risk-free or risk-neutral on the second contract. Worst that can happen is a scratch, and in the initial target for T2 is 24 ticks. So there we have that. Now we've got to activate the trading console here, confirm that it's 2 ticks and that the OCO and brackets are off. I trade with a keyboard, so you'll never see my mouse clicky over here any place for the initial trade. I do move stop. I have to use a mouse to move targets and stops, but there we have it. I think that's pretty much up to date now. So lower in range, quite good possibility of open auction, which is just basically rotational. And I will definitely let the open calm down and we'll see what we see. And we're open. So we have the first setting of our VPOC. I just put these in. Even though I see them with the yellow line as the day progresses, it's easier to see right here and not have to look backwards. You know, it's not a problem now, of course, but it's also, it can be a bit of a hassle. Set the set the IRT charts to the day time frame now. And all those levels will continue to push over here. There's our naked volume point of control, which is the volume point of control from yesterday's RTH session. Settlement just above. Looks like we're going to run for the overnight high and perhaps price check up here at this volume level. POC level. Boy, I'm not used to narrating out loud, I guess. So it appears that things are working okay on the stream. That's good. We've had this column is the volume point of control, or volume profile for the full session beginning at 1700 last night. This is the session volume profile, which is today, right now, RTH. And this is the chart. So if I scroll out, this will get smaller or larger compared to, well, it's hard to get out there, but you see the point. It's this profiles what is visible on the chart screen here. So we've got a swing high and a swing low. And that doesn't look correct. Okay, it's moved up. I was going to say the volume point of control, or the IB high needs to get up here, and that's obviously what's happened. IB low. In the first 1 hour, the IB low and the IB high are simply the high and low of the trade of the session. After the first hour, they stop there, and that's where they're fixed. So that's at the point where we say the IB is set. That's the initial balance. It's an old market profile term, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and that's right up here. There's a pretty good stat around the IB. It's about 80 or 90%, I think, that one of the two will be taken out in the regular trading hour session. Could be the last minute of the day, could be the 1 minute after 9:30 when the IB sets at 9:30. So that's that. And well, I guess they could have called this a mean reversion long. There's a test here. I don't do those. Real hard for me to trade middle out off the POC. Many years of market profile where it's drilled in, never to diddle in the middle. See if everything is working as expected here. I hope so. I turned a little of the base filter down. Kind of sounded a little muddy when I listened to the recording. We would probably be looking at this 89 to 90 if it was a big level yesterday at 90. This is the naked volume point of control here. And above that, I think we've got some, we've got the overnight high, value area high. Those are all big numbers. So that would probably be a likely target for today's trade. My problem is getting off of trading out of the middle here is something I'm not happy about. So how do I align to trade for that higher? How do I align to trade for that higher target? In my opinion, I need to be somewhere down here. There is a structured trade, mid or VWAP to POC, but there's only handful of, 3.2 points, so that's not enough meat on the bone for or range for the risk neutral concept. And now if I look at this trade for that higher ground, it's a breakout, which is hard as hell for me to resist, but it's I've declared it to be a FOMO trade and an error, so I resist taking them. It seems like we're holding under the value or developing value area high and previous close. And we've taken this stat out on the overnight volume point of control, which was kind of a no-brainer. I mean, look where we opened. We opened on it, essentially. Oops, I missed one of these. Missed a little migration up there. That's not a good thing. I'm busy looking at different stuff and not paying attention. That's not good. VPOC migration up and then the price check back down to aisle 3, basically testing down here to these opening. Well, there's a lot of stuff I missed here. What the hell's going on? I'm busy talking and not thinking. Oh, well. So we had, obviously there's our open popped up. The POC is extremely sensitive at the open, of course, because of the lack of volume. As the day progresses and these numbers become much larger, it takes a hell of a lot more to move the VPOC or to migrate the VPOC to the next level, obviously. So that's that. I'd like to take a shot for that naked volume point of control, settlement, all of those things, but it seems to be resisting the idea of going up there. And I don't want to get caught with my pants down on a Friday afternoon, Friday morning. Nothing worse than going into the weekend peeking out of a hole, in my opinion. I put a huge importance on psychological capital. I guess I don't know what, but yeah, it's important. It's important to me. This darker, I'm not sure if I pointed this out, the darker POC is the full session. The brighter POC is the current session. And at a point soon, they will align. Right now, they're not. There's the mid, there's the VWAP, there's the POC. So we're looking at a total range of less than 10 points, about 8. It's just hard for me to figure out how to get on that. I guess to get on was it would be the mid to VPOC trade, which is not a scale. It's 82 to 84. That's only 2 handles, but here it looks like we're going to get this move up now to the NVPOC and settlement, but how the hell to get on it? Disappointing. Very disappointing. There's a little pullback to the IB high previous close. That could have been a little counter rotation for a long entry. Only in the market 10 and 12 minutes. I think I'll be disappointed that I didn't get that NVPOC or perhaps settlement test, but I'll stay around and look for the IB30, which will present at 9 o'clock, after 9 o'clock. And here we are. Need to have that not be such a drafting. I'm going to figure out how you put a fade on this thing. And there was that. So the trade would have been the test, the retest. But what have we got? We got 85 to 88. There's 3 points. So you're risk neutral and you're going for higher ground. There's that 90 liquidity, and they're running it. And like a dork, I'm not on it. hindsight and FOMO for breakfast. Ridiculous. And there's our IB high shifting up, which is, as explained earlier, first hour. Those two will continue to move. Basically, it's the high and low of the trading session for the first hour. That's pretty simple. And here we have a little more graphic representation. First few minutes of chop and zipper, and then kaboom. And why, why did that suddenly explode at that point? That's the big why in the sky, which I'm not sure I will ever know, or that anybody does, except if you're a conspiracy theorist, those few people in the smoky-filled room that are controlling the market. I hope I've got everything working sort of okay here. We're going to test back the settle and the high volume node, a bunch of other stuff. Took out all those stats, and that was a real good trade. Almost 10 points, 6 points off these tests. But where are these tests now? These are kind of in space. The real beauty would have been off the mid, but very tight, but only a 2-point range, so not enough meat on the bone for my parameter of 3 points, and I try to stick with that. I don't change my stop and targets if I can. I'm trying to build a statistically significant data set so I can actually have real vetted trades instead of just imagine that I do. That's the nature of trading. That is the nature of trading. And now it's anybody's guess what they're going to do with it. They're just a little wiggle away from value area high, which is right there. I think our ETH high is right there. That's overnight high. This is our current high, which is the IB. So, everybody's having a party up there at 93-ish, 94-ish. Disappointing. It's a fine line for me to actually see a trade early in the open or think I do. Really, and I want to always, or I try to always err in favor of not succumbing to FOMO or, come whipping rushing into the market, whipping and spurring like you're killing snakes. And works out good for some people, and I guess I'm just not unconsciously competent to the point of just smacking into them. I didn't feel like there was enough range here to the first scale, which was here. I mean, the first obstacle, which would be here. And then you would have been risk neutral up to the top, and it would be great, and you'd be all excited with what a super trader you are. But for me, I try to be real, hold the line at the range, and I break that or I fail at that often. And when I do that, I try to record those as an error, whether it's an error in FOMO, breakout, execution. I think those are the three error codes that I have in my to do with my setups. And now what are we looking at? We tested that VPOC and the settlement, and we're going to go up again after value area high and perhaps the previous RTH high, which is yesterday's high up here. That was a Mount Everest event over here. Boom, boom. They popped up there, grabbed it, and that was all she wrote. Here we are today, testing up there. Now, there's some levels up at 46, past 46. Let's see what those look like. And we've got the NVPOC up 4601. Some liquidity living over here. And we might get up there. But it's only 20 minutes in. Unfortunately, I missed that. Well, it's not unfortunate. I missed it on purpose. I at least saw the trade and consciously decided not to take it, which is, in my opinion, an improvement or a good milestone. I got the Michigan consumer sentiment out at 10, or 9 Central. 10 minutes, 9 minutes from now. That can often be a market mover. So I want to be sure that's right. Boom. Michigan 1 year, Michigan consumer expectation. Yes. Well, we're just living on the edge of that settlement, naked volume point of control, which is no longer naked. Our developing value area high is just a little scooch above that right there. This is a pretty interesting area to everybody right here. So we will see what the Michigan number says, and that will be also mark the demarcation for the IB30 trade. Boy, my eyes are bothering me. I don't know whether to get kicking around the idea of two. I've got 5 monitors here, 4 on a rack, 2 and 2, 2 above, 2 below. I'm thinking about just switching out the below 2 to 4K 32 inch. Not sure if that's going to be better or worse for my eyes, though. That's the problem. I had a Philips 40-inch 4K, and the backlighting strips burned out. It's kind of disappointing. But these monitors are HP, some and others, with what that is, or was. Let's see if we've got some notes going on over here. I don't know what that desktop audio bonk was all about. I don't see any disconnects or any kind of error messages here. Here we go again. What is that? There's no lags. There's no error. I have to figure out what the hell's, what that damn noise is. I don't have any audio alerts set on Bookmap. Don't think I do on IRT, except perhaps some default thing to do with data issues. That's why I was immediately looking at IRT for a data issue. This is the heartbeat, so you can see at a glance that you've got good data flow and what strength is. I mean, obviously, price movement over here, but this is a quick glance to see what's going on. And IRT seems okay. So who knows? Maybe it's something to do with YouTube or the US OBS, perhaps. And we're sneaking up to the 9 o'clock. Sneaking up to 9 o'clock. Michigan number in 3. It is a mover. Only 2 stars on the data that I use, the economic calendar from, but it's definitely a high tier number. Why they don't call it 3 tiers, I don't know, or 3 stars, I don't know. But it can move the market. Let me put it that way. So. Everything looks good. We're set to trade. Let's confirm. Yes. Okay. One trick with Bookmap that may or may not be worth noting. You have to click here and select the Bookmap application in order to use the keyboard shortcuts, obviously. So if I happen to be looking at the IRT charting and then glance over and see something on Bookmap and hit into it, it's going to go no place. I see a lot of people in the T-Lab talking about getting long at 78 and exiting around 85, 88, looking to re-enter. So obviously there's some folks there that are more adept at this than I. Or at least that's how what they type anyway. Never know. And as far as I'm concerned, it never pays to compare. The only thing that I compare myself to is the account. That's it. It's an ideal business, in my opinion. I rely on, besides, there we go. There's that Michigan number, kaboom, and it was a good one. That's pretty obvious. I don't ever trade numbers simply because I have not figured out how to control my risk. How the hell are you going to control your risk in a deal like that? Even if you've got a stop set, that thing's going to be through you and gone before you can say howdy. And that's how people get wiped out. Michigan number trade. Or is it, are you just booked? So, disappointingly, I'm not sure if reading all these posts are helpful or harmful. Everybody's making big piles of money here, supposedly. In the T-Lab, which is the trader's lab, it's the Bookmap Discord chat. Tom B is a professional 40-some-year experienced trader. Good guy. Seems like a good guy and seems like a straight shooter. Isn't selling anything, doesn't have a course, it's just altruistic out of the goodness of his heart. I also think he enjoys the feedback and being in the camaraderie of a room and, that kind of thing. Because trading can be a lonely business if you're prone to get lonely. So we are having a trend day up. Based on a couple reports, but very definitely a trend day up. 1, 2, 3, 4 distributions working on 5. There is actually no value area in a trend day. It's price discovery. So, and we keep extending the IB30. So that's, I'm not. So here was the 9 o'clock hour. So there's an extension, IB30, IB30. Yeah, it's going to keep doing that. The IB sets at 9:30. Then that stat becomes active. So I don't know how long this is going to continue to climb. And I want to see, we're still here. Okay, so that's not good. I gotta figure this. It doesn't seem like when I click the screen switch on the IRT screens that it does so. Gonna have to put this OBS on a different monitor that I can keep up, I guess. Well, keep it up where I can watch it. I'm trying to keep everything related to the 2 monitors. For Bookmap, IRT, OBS, then I have another machine running T-Lab and whatnot, and another machine running my other life, which isn't real time. I mean, it's normal Outlook and stuff like that. So let's see if this works here. Boop. Now, did it switch? Yes, it did. Okay. Yeah. Well, anyway, back to the point. I'm not a studio musician, but clearly we're just going for higher ground here. And any trade I would take out of this would be a breakout, in my opinion. This pullback to this low volume area and the naked volume point of control, that would have been an opportunity. Up here now would be a breakout. Again, I don't know how you have it's easier to see for me on the Renko. Okay, here there's a couple guys saying they got long just after the open. Well, okay, good for them. Here's a pullback to the IB into this previous consolidation. Same story here. Now what'll happen? Trend days are hard for me to get long. My preference is shorting. So, all this exuberant up crap is annoying. But any good, jokingly, professional trader, it doesn't matter which way the market's moving, that's the way you trade it. And if you've got a vetted trade, you trade that. How someone has a vetted trade 2 minutes in the open, after the open, what that trade would be, I have no idea. This could be the VWAP VPOC, but the problem, I mean VWAP mid, the problem is here's the VPOC, right? So it's trading the other way. And now we're back down to that naked volume point, previous naked volume point of control, which is right there, and a high volume node. Whether they'll sell it off and get into that next distribution or not, I don't know, or whether to take a long out of here. The further the day progresses, the less confident I become of continued there's a hell of a continued movement, like, and I'll probably prove myself wrong here, but there's an awful lot of people long right now. And at some point, the higher time frame is going to go, thank you very much, boom. And, you know, thanks for playing. And then they're going to take them all out. And that pullback was it. So it seems to continue. That's 601 to 5, so, you know, 4 points, but still looking higher. Now again would be the breakout. Not going to take it. I did narrate the fact that this would be the likely what I was looking for here, and I don't see it, is a trigger and exhaustion. We come down here to 36 for 5, and I don't see any exhaustion here. Well, I guess you could call this one where it comes down and takes a 1 lot. Louis with the 1 lot, and then up it goes. That is by definition exhaustion. And you need to look for that on the other side of the coin too when you get up here at the top. Are there any more buyers? Are you taking buy stop or sell stops out? Are there any more sell stops? Because the stops are the fuel that move the market, not initiation. That's what the higher time frame feeds retail, and the retail stops are the fuel, in my opinion. Well, they are definitely going to take this thing to the moon, Alice. Sort of disappointed I'm not breaking out. I'm not a breaking out trader, because look at that damn thing go. I would be now approaching 10 points on this long. So disappointing. Probably will not take a trade today. I don't know how I'm going to get my head around the fact of just hitting into this stuff. I'm so conscious of account and risk. I believe I'm too cautious, actually, and overthink it. Just like this test down to the previous naked volume point of control, high volume node, or in the 61 area, 4601 area, was along, liquidity just below. That would have been the place to take a long and just risk it with it's called a Yeah. So a long out of here and a stop just below that liquidity. That's actually less than 3 points. Wow. Well, let's see what happens when the IB sets here at 9:30. I can't foresee myself getting involved in this, but it's amazing how differently the presentations can be. This looks like a relatively innocuous pullback, 11 to 6, but it's really 5.5, 6 points. Look at that on the Renko here. From a high down into here, looks like a much more drastic pullback to that low volume node, which is this low volume node right here. So that looks a little better again. Psychologically, I'm still trying to figure the bookmap thing out, kind of visually, I should say. So this could be a long off the low volume node and mean reversion. Zoop, zoop. And we're coming up on the IB. So that would mean the likely suspect in today's action, the IB high would be taken out in another 8 minutes. And it wouldn't be the first time that I've seen the thing go across and take out the IB low. Well, well, well. Nelly Bell, what are we going to have here now? We're going to have, how many times have we tested that? One, 1, 2, 3, into this low volume area here. Low volume node, the buzzword. But we do have an IB high coming up here, except there's a pile of liquidity parked right here. 700 contracts defending that IB high. Five minutes to the IB low, or IB set, I'm sorry, what am I talking about? So the statistic is that either the IB high or the IB low will be taken out in the after 9:30. Once it's set, will be taken out in the regular trading hours. And that statistic for this day type, opening type, is 98.1% of the time. Here, 98.1% of the time, high or low will be taken out in a lower in range opening type, which is what we have. Now, if we wander down here to the IB high being taken out, it's 68%. The IB low taken out is 61%. So you see there's kind of a, you have to interpret those properly. These stats up here, overnight high or low, the POC, all that crap, you know, these are huge, but they are within the RTH session. Could be 1 minute before the close. One of the two of these will be taken out, and that's 98%. That's not a tradable stat, in my opinion. But that is just my opinion. And we've pulled through that low volume area, approaching the stat. And, you know, there could be a lot of traders thinking that's going to happen and getting long. And it will be a thanks for playing. Now they'll get everybody excited for the IB. Yeah. I don't know how many distributions we've got. I've lost track. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 so far today. In theory, this is a outside in mean reversion at the top. Not really an asymmetrical trade because it's in the middle of all this noise. Asymmetrical would be a short from the top, where you just had, you put your stop one tick above it, and if it goes that way, you're wrong. But this is not a position for not an opportunity for that. However, we could be looking at another pullback and reload for another leg higher. And the IB is going to set in a couple of seconds. Here. Bang, there we go. Now we'll see what happens. I don't really see any particular, well, I guess you could call this here a line in the sand. A lot of liquidity defending that IB high. Would this be a place for me to take a asymmetric trade? Go long, targeting the IB high. The NQ, which is this correlated market, is hammering lower. So not necessarily a rosy picture. And we have developing value area high in that previous level of the naked volume point of control in the high volume node. Looks like they're going to go hit that. Why do they want to go any higher? They may want to go lower and get some, wash out some of these longs, But this would be a breakout short. That's screwing with my mind, this whole idea. Well, we sort of have exhaustion. Kinda, sorta, here and here. But I don't think I can justify getting long. I would love to get long and just sit on it, but I'm relatively sure that they're going to bring this thing down and it would be a stop out below that NVPOC. And I don't see any area where that would not be the case. Maybe around the 95 level down here. I don't know. This is not a comfortable spot for me to trade. It's kind of a mean reversion, if you want to call it that. From here up, we don't have any. That's a good question. Where the hell is the POC? POC is down here at 7,000 contracts. we could get a shift up here or here. Could get a shift up here pretty quick. That would get everybody's attention. We could also continue to fall down until we hit the VWAP and mid too. So, and there's, and this is the top of the number, Michigan number. They haven't gotten back to the scene of the crime yet, which is often the case. I guess it's pretty obvious I'm confused and conflicted. And in that context, I believe I'm going to sit here and here we are at that area that I was looking at previously. But 3 below is mid VWAP, and then, Jesus, you know, POC is clear down here. What are they going to do? Pretty deep pullback. So I started talking about a reason for a long here. Then I noticed here, and then I pointed out here to myself and to this stream. So what does all that really mean? Should have been short, I guess. I guess the idea was to short this value, this test of liquidity for the POCs. And maybe the short is the way to go down to the POC. This is the mid and VWAP. Value area high, overnight high. Boy, there's a hell of a lot of stuff going on over here. A lot of stuff in this area. A lot of stuff. What do we have for range to the POC? Oh, that's good. 8 points. And a lot of liquidity on the top side. Let's try a short here. Wow. Try a short, see whether it goes. If it doesn't go, I'll head to the office. So what have we got now? Boop, boop. We've got the target there. And it's not playing nicely for that VPOC. We've got settle target there. And then the POC would be down here.
Order submitted.
Maybe I need
Order submitted.
That volume area. So let's see what happens here now. That was, I think, a reasonable idea. We broke under the mid and VWAP. Now we're going to either test back up and take it out, or what are we going to do?
Order submitted.
Put those together. A test of the mid and VWAP would have been a definite trigger, but we're just not getting follow through. Down here to low and settle, unfortunately. See what happens at this point. I wonder if I can get the timing. 116. So I'll say 115 in on the, see if I can get that thing to work. 115. Oop. No, that's 1 hour. There you go. Oh, what are you guys going to do here? Why are you doing that? Well, that's just really disappointing. Turn my back and look what they do. Let's hope that was a stop pick and they're going to take it lower to see what's down there now that they got that nonsense out of their way. Yeah, I think this is not a, they can't seem to get down past that mid and VWAP. So wish the bomber would come in and hit him. Disappointing. Get down there, boys. I'll be right back. Okay. How to make that fade? I guess I could just do it manually. Oh, really? You're going to do that? Really? Huh. I don't know what to think here, except that this is just going to continue to be irritating. They can't break it down. It doesn't look like. It looks like they could break it up. So easy to get 3 points the wrong way and stop right there. and struggle to get a long, struggle to get a profit. 3 points, just to scale. It's really weird. Held that for quite a while too. Oh well. And I hate going into a Friday in the hole. Just, irritating. Very, very irritating. And now it's going to turn around and do exactly what I had suspected it would do after I've been taken out. So I don't really know. Okay. I guess the point of that is poor, poor, poor entry. I guess. That's just disappointing. I am so tired of having to stand here and scrap back. That's I've done that several times this past week. First trade is a loser, and then back to some trivial amount of profit, $100, 300, whatever. But just irritating. Mid and VWAP can't make it lower, and hasn't gotten back to that stop. Well, yes, right there to the stops. So do I need to widen this crap out? But that's just ridiculous. That's rationale or rationality. Well, I'll widen out the stops. That's the dumbest thing in the world. Stops are there to protect your account. So I'm not going to change that. I just got on the wrong side of what I thought was a correction or a reversal in context here. And I didn't do it soon enough. I got down here thinking, well, okay, VWAP mid, we're going to take it to POC. Because they had traded this, taken out these longs. And I was wrong. They're bouncing off the mid POC. And they may bounce up here and then take it down. That's what you don't know. That's the magic of trading. And it's even more frustrating to have to leave in the hole. But I need to do that. I've got to run out and take care of something. I guess I will not leave the stream going as I did yesterday, because this will be I'll be off site, so. I'm beginning to wonder if this is. I didn't used to struggle like this. I'm kind of puzzled as to why this is happening. So everybody's now scalping long for the IB high. So I guess I could try that one. It's kind of a breakout at this point. And I see an obstacle at 98, so I don't know what to think. Let's try it. Let's see what the hell happens. I'm tired of this. If this gets me out of it and gets me home, great. And if it doesn't, I'll not trade next week. How's that sound?
Order submitted.
This might be a place to get just under that liquidity. And my stops are just above the VWAP in the mid, so not particularly good. Targeting the IB high. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. So we'll see if we can get the risk neutral here. And we did. Okay. So now this is risk neutral. Pulling this up here means all that I can do is scratch. Now, if I get some significant movement towards that IB high, I'll pull the stop up to here, which would scratch the day. And I'll put this target up right there.
Order submitted.
And we'll see what happens. And that's looking pretty good there. That's looking great, actually. I'm going to get up here to some profit there. And that would have been my take profit there, which I've moved up. However, I am trailing up behind it. So I'm over my 3-point break even. See what we go, how we go here. And I'll try to keep this under this liquidity and see if I can just get a little bit of extra oomph out of these guys for that IB high. Hit that liquidity. Come on, get in there. You know you want that. You know you want that. I'm going to come in just below that high volume node right there and see how we do. And that trade happened at 131. So say 130-ish, I guess. I'm taking notes of these things for put that directory in the stream so I can just get to it. Do have to get out of here in 5 minutes, so I'm kind of thinking hit out of this thing, and that would have been my first target in the first place. Oh damn, now I'm going to get stopped. Just no sooner said I was going to hit out of this thing, and that happened. It didn't happen though. Get in there, liquidity. Yeah, push that up. Attaboy. Push that up. I think I'll hit the plunger here and get and again, I'm only going to be about, $400 or $100 and some dollars because of that loss. It's just disappointing, man. The winning days are just not adding up here. Take a hit, boys. Get up there. Get that liquidity. Somebody jump in behind him. There we go. Lift off. Now you're talking. Ooh, VPOC shift. There's a good sign. And I'm going to do something here that may not be the right thing, but I'm going to trail right up on that VPOC. VPOC shift up. That's a good thing. But I'm going to get right up in there behind it because I don't have a lot of time left. And sometimes they'll roll back behind that and do a price check. And that could be the case now. They're not very excited about breaking up. Need to get some buyers, and we don't have anybody. Sellers need to lift off, do something. There we go. Take a lift. There you go. Lift off. There you go. Now we're talking. Get up there and hit that target.
Order submitted.
Get up there, boys. Well, trailing up real close. Looking for the target, but also need to get out of here. I'm supposed to leave at 10, and developing value area high just jumped up too. Look at this. I'd say this target might be reasonable up there. Lift off, lift off, lift up. What happened here? Did I get stopped? No. What's going on? I'm getting some sort of a RMS warning. I don't know what the hell that means, to be honest about it. Take that target. Get up there. Kind of worried about what that was. I don't know what RMS warning means. Something from Rhythmic. I'd like to take that target. At 68.
Order submitted.
There we go, just under the liquidity. Boy, you guys are just stalling out. Why? Why? There we go. Boom. Hit it. Boom. Take it out. Take that target. Matter with you. Huh. Wow, you got to be kidding me. All right, to hell with you there. Well, it took me out. Took me out of my trailing stop. Dick for a tick. My goodness. Should have pulled into this low volume area. Goodness gracious. That is pretty annoying. Take that. Oh, wait a second here. Wrong. Got to wind her back a little to get to the beginning of this mess. Uh-huh. And what did we end up with? 125 bucks. Thanks to that stop. Otherwise, we would have been 700 and change, you know. That's really annoying. Really annoying, but it is what it is. But, you know, here I go again. Okay. There I go again. All right. Boy, I'm getting tired of this scrapping to break even or just, you know, $100 ahead or something stupid. And I'm actually $700. You know, had that first short not gone haywire, and now we're probably going to take out the IB high. Anyway, trailed up tight, got to go. So shutting off the stream now, December 8th, 23. Again, first trade down, second trade compensated plus $100 and some. So, you know, better than a stick in the eye, but it's just going the wrong way. I've got to figure out how to get some risk reward, or, you know, at least 2 to 1 on these things, and I'm not doing that. So stopping the stream now. Have a great weekend. Rollover will be coming up here first of next week from Sunday, I suppose. I'll have to take a look at the volume.